Yeah, I've just put it into Skype into recording mode now because I just found it.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. By the way, I forgot to say that I'm not recording video, but like, do you want me to record video on my phone, just like to do a screen capture?
Can
Or
do.
or you?
I'm just recording it as is, and then I'll take the audio and then work it into the show as and when I can.
Okay. But you're recording the video right now.
I believe so.
Okay. So in that case, yeah, I don't need to. Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I have never worked on Skype like this before in an interview fashion. Are you able to control the size of screens later on, or does Skype give you that ability?
I don't think it does. I'm just rolling with it and seeing if it works. And I mean, the other interviews I've done have all been on Zoom, and it's provided a video file and a separate audio file as well. So this will be interesting.
Okay. If you want me to jump over to Zoom, I can. I have Zoom on the phone. But if you'd rather just try this for the sake of working with Skype and seeing how it works, then that's fine.
Well, let's roll with it for the minute, and then if we'll see, I'll make any changes later on and make things work as I say. And I'm just going to jump back to the question about lockdown. How has it been affected for you?
Yeah, lockdown is. I'm actually rolling with it quite well. I work well when I'm isolated and autonomous, so it's hasn't been too much of a change for me. There's plenty of work for me to do. My record label has got plenty of work for me to do, which I'm working on, and I'm gearing up for a new release, a couple of new releases. There's an album coming out. There's a single coming out, and I'm working on. Well, I'm working on it. I need to get a new music video done by the time that album comes out. So there's lots of work for me to do. I'm quite busy. Having said that, I am ordering delivery meals like six at a time, so I can just put them in the fridge.
I've been guilty of getting takeouts in when I get home from work because I just can't really, well, not bothered, but just don't have the time to cook something when I really should be. But
yeah,
has lockdown sort of changed your way of working? Has it made you go, okay, I need to get this done or that done?
Yeah. In a way, I think it's allowed us to be more focused because we're chained to our desks and that's our only option. I think we're, as artists, I'm speaking for, and independent artists and anyone in the music industry, really, I think it allows us to be more focused because, we're not going to shows, we're not going to rehearsals, we're not doing all these other things that we'd normally do. We really have more time on our hands and up our sleeves. So we can't use that excuse. Like we can't use the excuse, oh, I just don't have time to do a music video, or I don't have time to do my social media marketing. You have plenty of time. In fact, time is what we all have right now. We've got lots of it.
Has it been a learning curve for you to adjust working from home to doing stuff like Zoom meetings and doing interviews over Skype like we are doing?
Not really. The only difference is you don't have to put on real pants.
And also, has it opened you up to doing other new things that you didn't think you'd have had time before in the past?
Yeah, for sure. Things like this. We're doing a lot more interviews like this, a lot more live stream performances like this, and also I'm finding that, which is incredibly helpful, which I didn't do so much in the past, is all these online webinars for industry folk. So, there was one today for Indie Week in Canada. There's one tomorrow called Music Biz Association that I'm going to join, and these are just sources of really need to know sort of in the group information that you wouldn't normally get, and now a lot of these meetings and online conferences, webinars are being offered. Most of them are free. A lot of them are free. So you can really educate yourself and upskill yourself quickly, and make connections, right? You can start making more opportunities and making more connections with people, which before seemed to be such a hard task because you thought, I have to go to this concert and then I have to meet people after the show. I have to email them. I think the lockdown has really allowed us just to focus a little bit more on those connections, and getting our job done. Obviously we've lost some big elements of life, including the live music scene. Tragedy, terrible things, missing that. But that's the way it is. So we need to accept that and work with what we have. And so I think the lockdowns have provided more focus on it's given an opportunity to focus on things a little better.
And you were saying that you were due to go out off and tour just at the start of the year. That was, and do festivals as well. Where was it you were off to?
Well, last September I was supposed to be playing Summerfest in Wisconsin, and that's not exactly close to New York where I'm based here now, but so I would have had to travel for that. But just like every other festival, that was cancelled and postponed. And even today, I just got the email that it's a summer festival called, rightly called Summerfest. But just today, the email came out that they've moved it to September again this year because everyone's still uncertain about what's going to happen. So that must be really hard on the organizers for things like festivals on just when to give it the green light, because everything's changing week by week, month by month, day by day even. So I feel for the festival organizers. They're having a real rough go of things.
I've seen a lot of notifications on places like Twitter of organisers that have had to say apologies, but we've had to cancel, or apologies, we're trying to find a new date, and even articles of people that are trying to adapt in what is essentially a new world, because obviously last year was the first year that Edinburgh Fringe didn't go ahead in Edinburgh itself. It was all moved online, so that meant a lot of changes for them. And then not only that, but also the big thing that we lost was the Christmas market and Hogmanay Festival, which is what really draws in a lot of tourism, because we have our old knees up on New Year's Eve going into the new year. So it's been quite a shift just to readapt to what is becoming to the new normal. And again, when I've headed to work, I've seen shops that have had to close their doors because they just can't keep going, or they can't keep going for whatever reason, whether it's money's just not there, or the license for the premises they've got, they just can't keep hold of it. And it's a shame to see some of the independent places go under just because they can't compete at all.
Yeah, it's such a shame. And you're speaking about the online, the festivals moving to online. There was one last year that I was supposed to be out in Sweden, which we were supposed to travel to Sweden for that, and that turned out to only be an online. So we did an online performance with my band, that everyone did their own performance like this on their own camera, and that was sort of mixed in to the live feed in Sweden. That was called Live at Heart Sweden, and that was good that we got to do something, and that it gives us the ability to showcase and perform, which is something. It's not as good as a live gig, but it's at least something for us musicians and artists, songwriters like myself to make content and to give it to our audience. And that's what we have to focus on now is um, making content, giving it to our audience, keep the fans engaged, keep building new audience if you can. Um, and that's a big task. That's a record label's task that they usually take on for artists. So, I've adopted that myself now as my own record label. Dandy Ram Records, by the way, I should plug that right now. This year is the beginning of my first release of my own independent record label called Dandy Ram Records. And I should mention that I'm also scouting for new talent now. So of all the people that you know, and if you think they might be interested in releasing on my label, please send them my way.
Oh, of course. Anyone, if I find anyone I find, I'll be sure to send on to you, Eden. Speaking of music, you told me a great story about how you came up with the song New York. Could you tell me again, just for?
Yeah, sure. So New York actually is one of those songs which was kicking around in the old song vault for a few years, and it did have another title, and it was originally written in London. Which this is a very interesting story because it was written in London and the original title was Dark Lanes, and then it just sort of went into my song vault, like it wasn't finished or I haven't recorded it, and it's just there waiting for something to happen. And so I looked at it again while I was when I was preparing songs for this new album, and I thought, I like this song, but I wonder if it needs just a lyric update. So I basically updated the lyrics and I gave a New York storyline. And part of the melody was like tweaked a little bit as well. And some of the melody that I've been on these songs have come when I'm riding the subway, and which I don't do anymore because no one's going anywhere. But that was kind of a nice treat, wasn't it, to ride New York subways? And just the rattling of the train carriages, and it sort of puts you in this, puts you in a good mode as a conduit to the universe, just to pick up ideas and things. So that was, sort of, there's a lyric in there about riding the subway and stuff like that. But the song originally was written in London, about London, and then I changed the lyrics and now it's written about New York.
It's a great song because I've listened to it a few times and even sung along to it as well. And I just there's something about it that really gets me up and going. I don't know what it is.
That's great. It could be the beat. It's got a very driving drum beat that just sort of chugs along like a train. It's really driving. Actually, this is good news for you. If you like that song, I just got the masters back from a new mix of the whole album, and it's mastered again at Sterling Sound in Nashville. And I just got back, and it sounds phenomenal. I'm really happy with the new mixes and the new mastering. So that will be on the new album. So when that comes out, you'll get a fresh mix of New York, and the drums are really punchy and in your face. So I think you'll like it.
Oh, I'd be up for hearing that. Because the first way we met was actually you reached out to me after I had been down in London, seeing a good friend of ours, Joey, doing. I think it was first time when I first got to know her before she released the Year That Never Happened album, which is a great album.
Yeah.
And the first I heard of you was Something Called Love. And there was something of a Lou Reed element to that song for me, and I was like, hang on, this guy's really, really got something here. And I should say, and just for anybody who wants to either find Eden or any other artists that I've played on shows in the past. Run a playlist called ECFM New Stars. Eden's there, Joey's there. There are lots of different artists for people to find, and it's also a good read if they like. If I say for finding artists such as yourself. Are there any songs that you would love to cover in the future?
Oh, to cover songs? Yeah, I've got this list of. I've got a whole list of cover songs that I'd like to do, and I guess it's sort of about, well, what's my next project? What do I do next, and why? So it's all about strategy, right? Why we do these things? Why, as a record label, you say, oh, this is going to be best for you because of X, Y, Z, right? You have to think like a record label is, like, rather than think like an artist, which is sort of all about me and what my expression is. And the label thinks about, well, we're thinking about the big picture and the whole career, which, an artist should be responsible for thinking about as well, of course. But I think that's a great way to think about what you're going to do next, what the project is think about, well, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And what would your next project be to get to that goal in 10 years or even 20 years, right? So for me, one of my goals was just to have 20 albums released by the time I'm in my twilight years. And so I'm at album number 5 now, and I'm thinking, well, that's a long way to go, but it's like baby steps, right? We need to do this, what we're doing now, so we can get to that final goal. If my final goal is to have 20 albums under my belt, then obviously I need to do more albums. To answer that question, yes, I would like to do an album of cover songs, and I have a great list of songs. And I was, and this idea came to me decades ago when I was at university, that I wanted to do a bunch of cover songs that normally a female singer would do, and I wanted to do them in a baritone voice, just because I thought it'd be really interesting. And this is not a new concept at all; it's been done before, but I don't think it's been done enough. It's like really sort of even taking them to a new genre, like taking a pop song and then doing it in a sort of a Nick Cave murder ballad style. That concept really interests me. So, here's a cover song that I want to do, and it's by Lana Del Rey. It's Video Games. I actually do it as a cover, and I did it live a couple of years ago with my band. So I'd like to actually get that into the studio and do a different version of that song. So that's one, yeah.
That sounds awesome. Sticking with cover songs for the moment, is there any artists that you would love to work with or see them do covers of your songs, like New York or something called Love?
I probably need to get back to you on that, but yes, I think I would love everyone to do covers of my songs. So anyone at all, if you're listening to this and you like some of my songs, please do a cover, even if it's just a TikTok cover, right? In front of the camera and just singing along to it. I think that'll be fun. I would like to see Matt Berninger from The National do one of my songs. I think he could do a good version of Dumb Dolls.
Well, that'd be interesting to see if it happens. Speaking of lockdown, what is it like with you right now?
Oh, sorry, say again.
I was saying, what is lockdown like with you right now in terms of day to day?
Well, okay, so this is a bizarre thing that happened in the last 3 months. I was working later and later every day and then every night, to the point where I was working through the night, a bit like you, I suppose. I was working through the night, and I'd finish work at say 6 a.m. and just because I've just been working for too long, too many hours straight, so 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. then I'd go to sleep, and I'd try to get my 8 hours sleep. So then I'd wake up in the afternoons, and then what happened? I really wanted to get back to a normal schedule, like a sort of a 9 to 5 regular schedule, just for ease of communication's sake, rather than any real reason. Um, so I kept pushing my work schedule later and later and later because it tends to do that naturally anyway. I kind of just work myself to the bone until I'm too tired and then I sleep. So I kept pushing my work schedule further and further and further, and eventually it just got back to a normal daytime schedule. So it went round the whole circle, and I was just like, oh, so here I'm back at my starting place, which is great, which is what I wanted to be. And then the weird thing is, I kept just going and going, and I'm now working nights again. Like I just can't help it.
I will admit I do prefer nights because I'm more of a night owl than I am ever during the day. So it's been something of fun for me to do the unbelievable hours that I've done because I've worked either from 8 o'clock, say tonight, till 8 o'clock in the morning, gone home, gone to sleep, gone up 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah,
done other stuff, and then got ready for work and away again. Because the hours that I've worked, I've done probably 5 or 6 days, 12 hours ongoing through the night, and even then I sit at a computer, either my computer or my tablet, and write stuff or work out what the hell, just do stuff for the hell of it. I mean, I haven't sat at my computer and done a lot of story writing in the last year because I think I might have hit something of writer's block, but it's just being able to give them pause to think and go, okay, well, I've got this, and how am I gonna move it forward? Or something.
yeah.
But also the other thing, going slightly political here. Nicola, our first Prime Minister, has been at First Minister. She's been fantastic in actually leading us through what we're going through. She's been right. This needs to get done. This, and this, and this. When we need to go into lockdown, like, right, let's get it done. And at the same time, we've had Boris, who I think his thinking has been about a week behind where ours has been, and he's reacted. And then we've had obviously Trump, who's been denying this is ever happening, or to him he knows what's best when he really should be taking the advice that he was given, rather than just flanneling from one situation to the next, I suppose. But next question is going to be: we've seen drive-in movie theatres come back over the past year. Could that be part of the future for the music scene?
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Certainly better idea than the bubbles. Everyone in a bubble like the Flaming Lips did. Did you see that concert?
Don't think so.
So the Flaming Lips did this concert where everyone was in this, what's it called? Some kind of a bubble, like starts with Z. I don't know what the word is, but look at me saying Z. So I used to say Z, now I say Z. It's a thing for being here 10 years, I suppose. Everyone was in this like huge, like a solo bubble, but you're in your own bubble, and you're on a concert floor in a venue, and the Flame Lips were on stage, and also the singer was actually out front in the audience, sort of raised a little bit on a platform above them in his own bubble. And it was just, I think it was more of a publicity stunt. Just the idea of cleaning those bubbles like before or after shows is ridiculous. Like it didn't make any sense to me. So I thought, oh, that's just a publicity stunt. No one's going to repeat that on a regular basis. But who knows? We're in a strange time, so strange things can happen. I think the drive-in movie theater is an excellent idea for concerts. And yeah, look, if that goes ahead, I'll definitely start planning something like that. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, that the music industry is full of creatives, and musicians are a creative bunch, so we tend to think of new ways of reaching the audience, and I think the drive-in movie theater is a great one. And the bubble idea with the flaming lips, not so great, but at least they tried it. Again, excellent publicity, excellent marketing, because they were all over the internet with it, which is great.
I did see, I'm not sure who the band was, but I saw there was a gig that had done had individual barriered sections off for the audience, and as much as that's a great idea, again, no, it just makes it longer for the guys to set up or bring down the set at the start and end of the night. But yeah, driving a driving theatre, I think, was going to be a great idea, because I don't know if you watched the last season of Top Gear. That's how they did uh, some shows that last year. Because obviously, usually they'd have the hangar, a huge audience in there, and
yeah.
But of course, they can't do that because it's a big public health risk. So they actually had people with their cars, and they set up a stage, and they did it that way. And I actually thought it worked. It actually worked quite well for them.
Right. Yeah, I actually saw recently. I saw about this local church choir getting together in their cars around the choir leader. I think the choir leader was the only person outside, and everyone else was in their cars in a like a choral semicircle in their cars parked around in a parking lot. It was great, and that seemed to work out. So I guess I need to get my driving license.
I think so do I. So that I can actually drive to work rather than take the bus or the tram as I have to. I mean, that has been quite a change for me, because usually buses are quite busy with people going off to places to do things, but now if I'm doing day shifts, it's nice to get on the bus where it's absolutely really quiet and barely anybody on.
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally we get kids that when I'm going to work in an evening, and it's like, just can't deal with that. Because that has driven me insane in the past, when I've finished work at, say, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm heading home, and it's kind of the last thing that I need. And I will admit, yes, I have slept on buses to get to and fro from either work or home, and it's been helpful, because I've worked the long hours and I'm absolutely tired. Just for people, just let them know how they can find you on social media.
Instagram is Eden_James, and EdenJames.com, my website, has all the links to all my social media. I'm on Facebook, Eden James Music on Facebook, Eden James Music on Twitter. I think Eden James Music on TikTok, although I'm not really using TikTok much. And YouTube, I think you just have to search my name, but you'll see it, because I'm one of the first hit you'll find on YouTube. But again, that's where I fall down. I'm not a great YouTuber, and I'm okay with that. I know I can do much better. But there's also talk. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a chef on YouTube, and she's talking about moving platforms because of the whole censoring of speech and things like that. So a lot of people like her who have huge followings on platforms are seeking out these new platforms are popping up, which are claiming that then they don't censor speech and they're not doing any of this and that kind of thing. So she's looking into that. I forget what they're called. But again, I'm not a real video YouTube person, so yeah, I'm not on that every day or every week even. It's just something that I have to do.
Well, I say I'll be sure to include you when I find out when the show's going out live. Thanks for this, Eden, and we'll catch up with you later on in the series.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks for inviting me.
No worries. Take care, buddy.
Ciao. You too.